Morning. How's everybody doing today? All right, so today's stream is going to be a bit different than the regular streams. Essentially, what I'm trying to do today is figure out what to work on. And yeah, I just thought, like, since I'm already doing streams for, actually building the stuff I'm working on, why don't I actually go through the process of figuring out what to work on and sort of pick out like an idea that I can work on building and then sort of figure out also in hindsight like how to actually do marketing for these ideas. Um, so basically just sort of pick out ideas based on how likely they are to succeed. And that just kind of gets me into the frame of reference of thinking about things not from the point of view of how fun it would be to build it, but from the perspective of, okay, how useful would this be to an actual customer? Who is the potential customer? And how might we be able to reach them? And I think these are the two core questions that you need to answer before you build anything is, who is the customer? How can I reach them? And, how can I validate whether they'd be interested in using something like this? Um, but, of course, you also need to balance like how much time it takes to build whatever thing is. So yeah, this is what I'm sort of thinking through, and essentially the first step that I had was, what if I could basically just dump all of the ideas that I have into a list and sort of work through the list and filter them for what I think are the most promising ideas, and then just pick among them. And yeah, so this is a list. I think I have around, how many do I have? Yeah, probably 50, yeah, 53 ideas total. Okay, so I'm gonna work through these and just sort of see if there's any that stick out as potentially promising. Turn your Twitter likes or bookmarks into insights or actions using AI. I mean, more generally, this could probably apply to anything people tend to hoard, like bookmarks, notes, product hunt votes, GitHub stars, whatever. So I like this idea. I think, so me certainly, I'm sure I probably have like on the order of hundreds of bookmarks on Twitter, essentially tweets that I've stored in the hopes that like someday I'd use them to actually do something useful. But the UI is just so clunky, it's almost impossible to go back through them all and make sense of like why I bookmarked any particular tweet. So I think being able to retrieve all of a person's bookmarks and categorize them and create some sort of insight out of it would be super helpful. And automatically, I'm thinking like the customers would be X users, right? So for Twitter bookmarks, the customers would be users of X. I'm just going to call it Twitter. Customers would be Twitter users, and then the value. What would the value to them be? Insights from their bookmarks. Extract. Maybe actionable insights from their Twitter bookmarks. Assuming that people would bookmark tweets that they would potentially be interested in or that they think would be useful down the road. Okay, all right. And like how valuable would that be to them? I don't know. I guess it would depend on, I don't know. You could probably charge for it. Um, you could probably charge for it. I don't know, how much that would be worth. I think we need to dig into it a little bit more, but it definitely sounds like the sort of thing that would be useful. It would be useful, yeah. Pretty easy to build too. Like, I don't think this is going to be that complicated. Like, yeah, it should be pretty easy to build. So, okay, this is cool. I like this. I think this is pretty promising. Yeah, I don't know if like there's a way to validate. I guess the big question here is, would you be able? This is for Twitter, obviously, but this could apply to other things like GitHub, maybe Product Hunt. Um, yeah, I guess more generally, the ability to take um, any stash, and essentially, like the value in having a stash is that you've curated it yourself. Um, so, that's why it's valuable. Is you've actually considered the material and found that, okay, it actually meets some sort of bar that you're interested in, whether it's relevance to you or a utility or, potential utility down the road. I don't want to sit and philosophize too much, but it does feel like there's something bigger here than just Twitter bookmarks and turning them into insights. It might be something like a way to curate or a way to extract insights from all material that you maintain in some sort of stash. This is everything like personal notes, maybe even files, uh, tweets, browser bookmarks. Yeah, essentially everything, all of your information, and figure out like a way to extract insights from it. And then the other way is also like, okay, you want certain networks or communities. So, for example, you want a desktop tool that can help you with like doing OCR on an image, like extracting text from an image. Being able to find such things quickly, and you're sure that you either bookmarked it or it was in one of your GitHub stars or product hunt votes, then you'd be able to sort of stumble upon it. Yeah. And potentially like expand that circle. So it's like your curation is like a sample of some greater data set. It's just representative of some greater data set. And here you'd be even more open to discovering recommendations from others as well. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much into this. Is this something that I would pay for personally? Like being able to extract insights from my Twitter bookmarks? Um, yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, maybe it depends on like what your bookmarks look like. Maybe. Hmm. Super interesting. Yeah, I can see this being pretty valuable. Only question, I guess, is like whether can you actually access bookmarks? Can you actually access Twitter bookmarks via APN? That's a big question. Hmm. All right, moving on. Next idea. That seems pretty promising. I think theoretically, at least, it should be pretty simple to build. Um, I don't know how the like API limitations of Twitter are gonna impede this task getting done. All right, create best OCR for Arabic using AI for cleanup. Yeah, I mean this is like a personal issue. Finding a proper Arabic OCR is painful, and I think being able to use or to combine like AI with some element of like using Tesseract. I know you can use Tesseract OCR to extract like raw text. and then probably being able, I don't think we need Notepad, probably being able to clean that up so that you have proper output is, I think, the way to go. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. And would people pay for it? I guess like the question is like, what would the actual application be like, right? One way you can do this is take a look at Arabic PDF get text, something like that. No? PDF to text. Huh. Okay, it's pretty bad. Not a lot of interest. If I got this set on Bahrain, oh man. Yeah, worldwide, guys. Okay, interesting. All right, let's look past 5 years. Okay, growing interest. That's good. Interesting. Arabic OCR. I don't know if Arabic OCR would like actually be a term. Maybe you could move PDF to text. Most interest is from Algeria, Egypt, UAE. Yeah, I don't know about like, okay, UAE, Saudi, possibly. But what if it's not OCR? What if it's Arabic PDF to text? Um, Not even sure if I'm using this properly. I'm guessing India. Okay, interesting. Algeria, Morocco, South Korea, Pakistan, India. I don't know. Like the big question to me for this is not utility. I'm sure this would be useful, but who would the customer be? Like, who would the customer be? Um, because that's going to determine like how much they'd be willing to pay and how valuable it is to them. Who is a customer? And maybe it doesn't matter who the customer is, and it's more a question of like um, providing a generic tool, maybe. But then, like, really, you're kind of building it and hoping for the best. You'd have to figure out like how you're gonna achieve distribution, like how people are gonna actually find you, which is a big question with all of these projects. Is like how are people actually going to find you? How much would they be willing to pay for your tool? Yeah, that's a big question. Mm. How much? How valuable would this be to them? How much better? What alternatives are they using today? How much better would this solution be? Hmm. Yeah, imagine like, PDF to text, you Google that, you're gonna find like tons of, oh man, it'd be hard to compete with like all of this stuff. There's so many possible results. Yeah. I don't know. Like it seems promising as an idea, but the question is really like how you're going to be able to create a business out of it and how valuable it would be. I don't know. Syncable audible notes synced to wherever you want using AI for clarity. Like I guess this is more extracting clarity from your notes. Yeah. Mm. I don't think this uses AI much. Like I think a lot of it is um, so Audible users probably have customers pretty obvious. This would be Audible users who want to take notes. Oops, that's the doorbell. Just give me a sec. All right, and we're back. Where was I? All right, Audible users who want to take notes. Value to them probably pretty high, right? Currently, you need to do all of the note taking process manually, so I think this would be pretty valuable. Plus, they already pay. I mean, Audible isn't cheap, right? So this is probably. I think this is probably decent, and I actually haven't seen a way to extract notes from Audible, like Audible notes. Take notes in Audible. Yeah, clips. I mean, that's the feature that I'd seen. Reddit, okay. Yeah. I mean, I come across some of these. I mean, these are pretty old, but I do know they have clips. Yeah. Record screen, right? Blah blah. Okay. Convert to MP3. Transcribe audio and video to text with Trent. Huh. Wow, this guy's stitching together like so many different tools to figure it out. Wow, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea, but you're stitching together so many different tools. It's clearly a problem. And so, probably an opportunity here. Audible users who want to take notes, the value is probably high and high willingness to pay. Which is to say, like, Audible books are even more expensive than normal books. Like, you pick any book, I don't know, Atomic Habits, for instance. Uh, where is it on Amazon? There is a book, Atomic Habits. I think I have the Audible version. Yeah, so the Audible version is actually more expensive than the hardcover and the Kindle version, which kind of tells you all you need to know about like people's willingness to pay for a book or an audiobook. So high willingness to pay, that's good. How do you reach them becomes the question. Like, how do you reach Audible users? And this is where you get to like the Audible community. Wow, 109K members. Okay. Yeah, not much engagement, but it looks of it, at least on prior questions. And it's free on iOS. Okay. Can now search comments. Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't look like. I mean, 109K members is awesome. Maybe you can run ads on the Audible community, and that's a way where you can actually reach your users. How do you reach users? Um, Audible r/Audible, and I'm guessing ads here, and probably get pretty far with SEO. I don't know. I need to run through Ahrefs to kind of see if this actually makes sense, but it's looking pretty promising. Like, I don't think it's going to be that hard. The question, of course, is like how on earth you're going to be able to retrieve the notes in the first place. And you need to retrieve them in some sort of audio format and then like convert them. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a big question mark, but I'm sure there's like a way to technically solve for that. Yeah. Cool. This seems pretty cool, promising. So I'll add that on there. What else we got? Arabic AI language teacher, Cambly AI. Hmm. Learn languages by speaking with an AI teacher. Gliglish. Oh, okay. So I guess I got this idea while I was kind of browsing this page and a bunch of others. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know if you've heard of Cambly. It's a pretty big one. I mean, at least for learning English, and I think a big part of their uh, customer base is actually based in the Middle East, because there's huge interest from Arabic speakers to learn English, and just generally, like the education system here isn't very good, and so a lot of people take matters into their own hands, which is why a service like Cambly is a godsend. The problem, of course, is that Cambly is expensive, so you have to speak to in Cambly you can only speak to native speakers, and I mean it gets pretty expensive because you have to pay these people. So maybe there's an opportunity to create a service that uses AI to provide you with say 80% of the benefit or 60% of the benefit at like 1% of the cost. Uh, I don't know if that's what's this? Oh, yeah. Learn English. Curious what that looks like. Can you search by region? Yeah, I mean, maybe like search Saudi Arabia. Oh, dropped. Oh, interesting. Maybe if you search for the term. I'm just trying to type in the word in Arabic. Let's see. Oh, that's dropped too. Interesting. Oh, is this? Oh, it's 5 years. I'm surprised. Like, why does interest in learning English? Why would it have dropped in Saudi? What about worldwide? Pretty flat. Oh, maybe actually gone up. Hmm. Yeah. I'd say flat. So okay. Interesting. Interesting. This is very interesting. Surprising, actually. Maybe it's just become like way more popular. There are other alternatives. I don't know. Yeah, definitely something to interest in learning English is stable, is flat. Past 5 years. I mean, that's definitely a downside. What else? What? Really? Interest for learn English? Oh, okay. All right. Canada? That's interesting. Canada. And then a lot of the interest for the Arabic search term is from the Arabic region. You don't say. Yeah, it's kind of obvious, right? Hmm. I don't know, man. Like, okay, the fact that it's flat, not very encouraging, but at the same time, like, it's a massive market, and I think there's a huge opportunity here. So, who, like, it comes back down to like, who's the customer? Who's the customer going to be? Um, Non-native speakers. Maybe people that have used Cambly and churned. I think they're big enough that you'd be able to find some community, people that have used paid services and churned. But how do you reach them? I mean, these are not ideal customers. And again, my issue here is that you're actually competing on price, so you want to be very, very wary about providing a service where you compete on price, because highly competitive, and it's essentially a race to the bottom. So, how do you assess that? Like, is there like a Cambly Reddit, a subreddit? 5K? No, barely. It's unofficial too. Learn English. I mean, the cool part is like it doesn't necessarily need to be English learning. You could use it for any language. Um, but yeah, would you? Would you? Would I use a service like that? I don't know. Maybe not English, but if I wanted to speak to like an AI robot, have a conversation in Spanish, like say I'm trying to learn Spanish, uh, maybe. Technically, though, it's going to be one hell of a. What is this? Yeah, 218K members. I guess that's the problem with subreddits that are more general. Is the material is pretty off. Anyway, cool. I don't know about this. Like this doesn't seem super promising to me. Interesting. I don't know if it's super promising, but probably worth keep it in the list. Real estate, an app for connecting incoming calls with contexts. I mean, this sounds interesting in theory. Like, I know nothing about the real estate space, so I'm just not sure that this is actually something that exists or doesn't exist. Like, it's more of an exploratory. Hey, I'm sure there's stuff that we can do in the real estate space, especially related to AI, but I don't know anything about it. And so this is something that I would need to explore by talking to real estate agents and property owners. And yeah, it's not really an idea. It shouldn't even be here. box that answers calls automatically and outputs order tickets. Sell by calls taken. Yeah, I mean this is super interesting. Essentially, this is like a lot of restaurants here, and I'm sure in other places too, take orders over the phone, and it's super annoying. I mean, there are apps that exist, and probably the number of orders that you get over the phone are dropping. Yeah, I mean that's orders over the phone dropping in volume versus using ordering apps, right? I'm not really sure that that's actually the case, but I suspect that this is the case. And they just added to the description here. So if this is actually the case, then it's a shrinking market. But this would be a perfect application of like voice recognition, um, using like a Whisper API over the phone, like a combination of things that just makes it super simple to take orders. Uh, Interesting, definitely interesting. Um, it's got like some hardware because you're gonna have to interface with the phone somehow. You need to have a modem, and then wow, that's gonna be interesting. Like the downside is there's a hardware component, which you could probably use Raspberry Pi. Like, can you use Raspberry Pi with a phone line? Like, I'm sure you can, right? Probably. Hmm, okay. This is 2013 though. That's ancient. Source PBX runs on Linux. Hello telephone adapter and any regular telephone. Hmm. Asterisk server. Never heard about this. Interesting. All right. So it seems like technically it is possible, but there is going to be a hardware component, so that's just something to consider. Get some lo-fi going. I don't know. It seems interesting, but I don't know that this would be a good match for the sort of project that I'm actually going after, which is just something limited in scope, simple, easy to iterate on. Find the perfect tool. Use AI, semantic search on product hunt. This is actually similar to the first idea. So discovering the perfect tool for the job. Yeah, could work. I mean, this is interesting idea. Um, would probably work with the product hunt community, and then yeah, monetize via ads. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Now, how would you monetize ads? Now, and then charge for the service. You essentially become like a search engine. We need to figure out how to crawl product hunt. Um, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems like a. Then how do you get traffic? Maybe create an extension that people can use. I don't know, man. Like distribution is going to be a big question. Like, how do you get distribution? How do people find out about this? How do they use it? Like, I don't know, man. It's annoying. Yeah, I would not do that. How on earth do you get distribution? I mean, you could probably get launch traffic, people interested, just, oh, this is a cool thing. Let me check it out. But how do you actually get people to continuously use it? Man, that's a tough problem to crack. Especially since you're not going to be monetizing directly. I don't know. Self-updating website that updates itself whenever you post on one of your primary platforms like Instagram, YouTube, etc. And it looks decent. Okay, so this is following the trend of people, trying to break free from the chains of existing platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and owning their own audience. I don't know if this is an actual trend or if it's just something that I've been observing, but it's pretty tricky to get right because, if you have an audience on YouTube, how do you get them to your website? How do you create something that's optimized? WordPress is an option, but like, it takes work setting up WordPress, making sure it like gets updated. There's probably a way that you can have WordPress automatically publish whenever you like post something new on, say, YouTube. But, how do you create like its own page, create something that's, compelling on its own? That's a big question. So I do see this as being valuable. The question is like how would you actually how do you reach who would the customers be? Okay, so customers, YouTube create let's say YouTube creators. And maybe there's a subreddit YouTubers, something like that. YouTubers. Okay. 350K? Wow. Okay. Wow. That's interesting. $241. Wow. Interesting. Okay. So maybe you can actually reach them over Reddit. Hmm. I don't know about like the effectiveness of Reddit ads. I mean, it's just a way to quickly get access to a bunch of users. I guess the other way would be like Facebook groups. Hmm. Yeah, seems like there's a bunch of them. Possibly, yeah. I guess it could work. How valuable would this be to them? Hmm. I guess you could charge it the same way you do like a Shopify site. What's Shopify charge? It's probably the upper bound of what people do want to pay. I didn't realize there were so many like potential creators. I mean, just judging by the size of the subreddits, that's surprisingly high. I mean, 30 months would be like obvious, or maybe stagger based on audience size, email list, etc. Hmm. Although this does kind of fit into, I know ConvertKit is kind of playing in the creator space, and they actually do have a way for you to create your own landing page. Not quite a website, but a landing page. So possibly a way, and this would be complementary to something like a ConvertKit. Yeah, landing pages are not really relevant though. I don't know why I'm talking about this. It's more for creators on other platforms. I don't know. Like this doesn't seem very compelling to me, but specifically because I don't feel like I have a clear idea for who the customer is specifically. Like maybe it's YouTubers, and you focus like 100% on YouTubers, possibly. Like that could work. Um, Interesting. Like it's interesting as an idea. Translation. This is kind of similar to, I guess, that last idea. Publish their own site. Why would a YouTuber want to publish a translated version to their own site? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll pass. Are there details here? What's an example? Why would a YouTuber want to post translated videos on their own site? I don't remember exactly why I added this idea. Like maybe it was so for non-English content. So kind of as a way to reach English users from your non-English content. Um, Reach English target audience. I think that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. We'll leave that at that. Audio transcription app for the phone, as simple as voice notes. I know this is a feature that I later discovered. This was actually a feature that Android had. It's not fantastic. There's a transcription app on Android. Works pretty decently, but it doesn't allow you to upload your own like voice notes. So it's like you open up the app, you press the microphone, you speak, and it transcribes your text, and then you can copy it and paste it into wherever you want. The transcription is pretty good, but the process itself is painful. So maybe something there, like a way to just simply. But I can't believe this doesn't already exist. I mean, this must exist, right? Um, Speech to text. I don't know. This must exist, right? Dictation. Yeah. I mean, that's one of, I'm sure, like many apps. Yeah. Speech to text plus. Yeah, I mean, this would be similar to what I'm talking about. And what's the AI angle? I don't know. Like, doesn't seem very compelling. Auto gift purchase via Amazon, set parameters, frequency, and gift method. Mm, I'll pass. Fine tune on best performing content on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. Allow anyone to write any topic based on bullet points. It'll generate entire threads or posts for you instantly. Huh. Okay. That's interesting, and maybe in like a B2B angle, allow uh, founders, solopreneurs, professionals to amplify, to become, thought leaders between quotes. Kind of cringy that term, thought leaders. And I'm automatically thinking like LinkedIn, right? I'm automatically thinking like LinkedIn. This will be the tool for people to post on LinkedIn. It's almost like ghostwriting. It's like ghostwriting, AI ghostwriting. That's what it is. Yeah, interesting. So the customer would be. I love how I'm automatically thinking about customers now, and That's exactly the situation you want to be in. Is like you don't want to think about customers like after the fact. Before you work on anything, um, you should automatically think about who's going to use it and how valuable is it to them, and how can I verify that this would be something that people would actually use. So the value to them is invest in their image or brand. So definitely valuable. Um, Simplicity, easy, build an audience. Yeah, okay. And you could literally set this up so that you're sending small pieces of content or insight, and that gets transformed into um, content creation agency. So take raw content and turn it into polished pieces in the person's voice. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty compelling. That sounds super compelling. And how would you reach people? How would you reach them? That'd be the question. How do you reach them? So essentially, these are people that want to build their own audience, but maybe they don't have any engagement. Maybe they're just starting off. I kind of feel like LinkedIn would probably be a good tool to use for this. Um, the people just starting off. So let's say less than 10K subscriber followers, and you could probably do something similar on Twitter. But maybe it's best to focus on like one platform initially, and then because that gives you the perception of like suitability. Like if you say we are the platform for publishing on LinkedIn, then it just gives people the impression that you're focused, your quality is going to be higher than someone who just does all platforms. So yeah, I do see the appeal of focusing on a single platform. I'd say interesting. Like this actually seems super interesting. The big question is like whether you can pull this off. Like, can you actually take raw concepts? This could be like a voice recording. I don't know what the input would be, like voice recording, or SMS, etc., and turn it into a polished piece. And you have to learn from pieces that have done well in the past. So sort of fine tune it on well-structured, narrative-driven pieces that have worked in the past for other influencers, and at the same time take into consideration like this person's voice. It's a tricky one. This is a juicy one. Like definitely from a technical perspective, there's quite a bit to work with here, and I think we need to figure a few things out. But assuming you can pull this off technically, it just becomes a question of, man, this would be huge. And I don't know like how much this overlaps with a service like say, what's that big company in the AI content space? Jasper AI. Oh, now they're focused on marketing teams. Okay, so not individuals. Okay. Oh, so it's not even an issue anymore. Their focus is on marketing teams, and I'm sure there are probably other tools that focus on individuals. Cool. This is promising. I like this. All right. Man, there are so many, like, there are 50 cards. I think we went through like 10, possibly. No, more than 10. Like, probably 15. So about a third of the way there. Anyway, we're almost an hour into this stream. I'm going to take a quick break here, and I actually think we've got some super promising ideas. Like the three that I have mentioned here, they're nice. Like these are good ideas, and I think they show some real promise. Like the question is like, do you need to go through like the entire list and then move on to the next step, or can we just move to the next step immediately and figure out a way to quickly validate these ideas, maybe by building like a minimum version of these ideas. And I mean, if it takes less than a week to build, probably just build them and launch them. Because again, like these are useful. These are actually valuable. These are things that I would personally use. So whether it's the Twitter bookmarks thing, or Syncable, or fine tuning for LinkedIn, like yeah, thought leader. I definitely want to be a thought leader. Why not? Yeah. So these three I think are very interesting in their own right. So yeah, wrap it up here, and we'll do so the next step would be just validating these ideas to figure out like which one of them shows the greatest promise, and maybe I just end up implementing all of them. I don't know if it just takes a week. That's all right. Yeah, cool, interesting. All right then.